It's pretty shocking how many exploitation films, sexploitation films in particular, are now lost media. The main reason for this is they were never made with longevity in mind. They were made to make a quick buck. They didn't print backups. They printed prints to play in theaters to make money, and that was it. And after their run in the theaters had finished, they were forgotten about in a closet or a storage shed or a film lab somewhere. Some of these films are still out there waiting to be rediscovered, but some of them are just lost forever, thanks to film distributors like Lou Mishkin, son of exploitation producer William Mishkin. Lou was such a penny pincher and hater of exploitation films that when he took over his father's company in the 70s, he proceeded to burn many of the prints just to get the silver out of them. Many of Andy Milligan's sexploitation films are now lost because of this. You suck, Lou. And in many cases, especially in the sexploitation scene, the filmmakers didn't even submit their films to the Copyright Office. So these potential archival copies, they don't exist either. Back in the 60s, if you wanted your film copyrighted, you had to send a copy of it to the Copyright Office. And many sexploitation filmmakers didn't do that because, well, for one, what they were making wasn't exactly legal. I mean, they might have crossed over some obscenity line, so why send proof of your crime to the government? That makes no sense. So why am I talking about all of this history stuff? Well, the film I'm taking a look at this week comes to us from Mitam Productions. This was a West Coast production outfit that made a bunch of sexploitation films in the 60s in that New York roughy style. They had names like Blackmailed Wives and The House of Cats and Satan's Mistresses, and all of these films are lost. In fact, nearly everything that production company made is lost. Their whole library is just gone. As far as I can tell, this film is the only film that survives from that period. Let's check it out. Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Tortured Females from 1965, starring the stunning Denine Dubois.
Say it right.
Denine Dubois?
Thank you.
Right, her. Okay, well, she is something special. Let's check her out. Let's check her movie out. We open on D9 escaping from a building. Her dress is in okay shape when she hops out, but in the next shot, it's torn, revealing a bouncy that you can't see here on YouTube.
Now, just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. After some credits, a square-up tells us that more women should follow the lessons of Little Red Riding Hood because there are wolves out there trying to capture them and force them into white slavery. White slavery is an old term for sex trafficking. And a square-up, by the way, is an old exploitation trick to appease censor boards. They'd have these cards or sometimes a narrator tell the audience, "This is bad, and we're showing it to you so you can be prepared to stop it." And then they'd proceed to show you all the bad stuff. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure what lessons we're supposed to take from Little Red Riding Hood that can help us prevent sex trafficking. Pay more attention to what your grandmother looks like so you aren't fooled by a talking wolf in her pajamas. Yeah, I guess that's a pretty good lesson. I don't know how useful it is, though. So the escaped girl luckily runs across a local sheriff, and we hear via voiceover that she's going to tell us how she ended up in that awful place. So it looks like this is going to be a Moss film, a kind of silent film told with narration instead of dialogue. Okay, so let's flash back. Well, she tells us that she lives with her friend May, and there had been reports of girls getting kidnapped, so to get out of the dangerous city, she was going to go stay with her aunt for a while out in the country. The two girls get up and get ready, which involves plenty of stretching and showering. All lovely, all in violation of YouTube's community guidelines. But not Patreon's. After D9 dances with one of her stuffed animals, she hops in her car and starts off to her aunt's. And she gets lost. And then she runs out of gas, and then her feet hurt, so she soaks them in a nearby creek, which feels really good, so she decides to strip off all of her clothes and get wet.
This ought to be fun to watch.
There's a guy who keeps following her around, and eventually he offers her a lift. And then he gets a little handsy. They fight, and he wins, and he takes her to the cabin where the beatings continue. After she's, tenderized, she's tossed into a room where other girls are chained up. And then we get what makes this film memorable. Their keeper is a half-witted, monkey-chattering Mongolian hunchback.
What?
The half-witted, monkey-chattering Mongolian hunchback.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I guess because the film wasn't long enough to qualify for a feature, we get to watch 3 different stripteases. It's just pointless filler, but the third dancer does fill out a bra pretty well. Alright, so we pretty much know how this thing's going to go because we already saw the beginning, which is actually the end, where the woman makes it to a sheriff, so let's talk some highlights. Well, the main gal here, Denine Dubois, is smoking hot. And I love how she recounts her story to the sheriff with her bouncy hanging out. And the other ladies here look pretty good too. Of course, the other ladies are all naked the whole time, so you'll have to take my word for it, but pretty good. And what's even better is it's filmed pretty well. Lots of interesting compositions, and you're gonna have to take my word for it because these compositions are composed of naked bits, but it's pretty great. And of course, I have to mention the half-witted, monkey-chattering Mongolian hunchback. Not too many movies have one of those. But the film is far from perfect. Like a slaver stretching his whip out, it has some shortcomings. There's a lot to complain about with this one. To keep it short, the stripping scenes are obviously filler and they kinda suck. The camera is too far away and it's a static shot. It's just zero effort, pretty awful stuff. And on the story side, there's no tension here at all because it starts at the end, so we already know she's going to escape. I mean, starting at the end and then flashing back and then catching up and not going any further, that's about the worst way you can structure a story. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I mean, the film's just a bit over an hour long and the main gal, Denine Dubois, is smoking hot. So it's probably worth your time. And you'll probably never hear me say this again, but when it gets to those stripping scenes, fast forward.